John Coltrane was one of the most influential jazz players of all time. His sax playing continues to influence modern artists to this day, not just from the jazz scene, but to even rock and hip-hop artists. His playing captivates modern listeners now more than it did when he was alive, and while his works were written about a multitude of subjects, the civil rights movement of the 50s and 60s influenced some of his deepest works. One of his works, titled Alabama, was written in the wake of the tragic murder of 4 innocent girls who were bombed in 1963. Coltrane wrote the song to serve as an elegy to the 4 innocent girls and the people who were affected by the disaster. The bloodiest battleground of the civil rights movement was Birmingham, Alabama, the most segregated and racially violent city in America. It was often called Bombingham because of its long history of unsolved bombings of black rights activists. Because of the Ku Klux Klan's influence on the city, the local law enforcement was even known for working with the Klan at times. The Klan felt a sense of security, that they could get away with anything and not be held accountable. One of his worst acts of racial violence happened on the 16th Street Baptist Church. The church served as a base for demonstrations against the segregation of the South. Students were trained for demonstrations and even got an agreement for integration into public facilities with the city. From the church, even kids experienced the ugly face of racism. From attack dogs to high-pressure hoses, bigotry showed itself to African Americans at a young age. Because of the special significance of the church for the KKK, the church became a special target for their hatred. On a regular Sunday in September of 1963, 4 young girls attended church, with the day's Bible lesson titled, A Love That Forgives. When the 4 girls went down to the basement to get choir robes, a cannon-like explosion was heard all through the town. 22 sticks of dynamite with a time-release mechanism exploded after being planted in the basement. After all the rubble and glass formed on the grounds where the church once stood, the same 4 girls were found laying there. Cynthia Wesley, Carol Robertson, Addie Mae Collins, and Denise McNair, all between the ages of 11 to 14, and all found dead, with their bodies lying atop each other. An additional 22 people were injured by the bombing, and for some, the attack of 4 innocent girls worshiping at church was considered the worst of all attacks on African Americans. After police looked through the remains, they traced the bombs back to the Klan and found Dynamite Bob Chambliss, a Klansman suspected in many bombings. After a very rushed court trial, Bob was convicted of only possession of explosives, with an appeal in 1978 that convicted Chambliss for the murder of 4 girls, with a life sentence in prison. Chambliss died in 1985. In the aftermath, the bombing stood as a turning point of the civil rights movement. On July 2, 1964, 10 months after the bombings, President Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964, ensuring equal rights for African Americans before the law.